Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am the Witch of the Scrying Night, and today let's talk about something that actually happened not too long ago in a couple of states nearby where I live. I'm not gonna really say exactly where I live, but I do want to just bring up this story. It's kind of shitty. But not too long ago, there was a lot of tornadoes that came through several states in the southeast. Yeah, southeast. And a lot of people have died, actually. I believe it's up to like about 75 to 80 people have actually passed, a lot of injured. There were people that have passed away and that were injured from an Amazon warehouse. There was also a lot of injuries and deaths from a candle factory, and I believe that some of those were in Kentucky, some were in Tennessee, some were in Maryland, I believe. Not too sure about the other couple of states, but I know those two for sure. Or is it Illinois? I'm not sure. Let me check real quick. Okay, so the most recent article that I came across says that there are 93 dead across 5 states, and it says it's just horrible. Like, basically, it was Kentucky, and when I said Maryland, I was actually thinking of Illinois. So it was 5 states: Kentucky, Illinois, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Missouri. There were 78 in Kentucky. Those are deaths. So 78 in Kentucky, 6 in Illinois, 5 in Tennessee, and 2 in Arkansas and 2 in Missouri. So it's very tragic. If you look at the pictures, they're very tragic. Like, it basically looks like a war just went out and just a bomb just went out in the area. It's just horrible, horrendous. I'm looking at some right now. I'm very sorry. And I think that's just it's just horrible, obviously. There was really nothing anyone could have done, really, but I will say this, that you can't control what nature does, but you can control what people do. Like, you can control what you yourself does, and you can't really control what other people do, but other people have control of their own bodies to some extent. And this story gets a little fucking weird because the victims and the family members of the victims that were trapped in the Amazon warehouse and in the candle factory, those people, the employees to those 2 warehouses, they were actually working late, and even putting in overtime, in order to get as much of the holiday demand out as possible. Okay, so it happened December 10th. Okay, so this article came out a couple of days after. The pictures were taken 2 days after. So anyways, I will link below the article that I'm looking at. So what I had seen was that these people that were working late into the night, late into the morning hours, because this happened like around 3 in the morning ish, they had time to actually go and shelter and whatnot. And what happened was, from the evidence and from the witnesses, they had actually told their higher ups and their managers that that there was a tornado and that they needed to leave. And what the higher ups told them was that they were not allowed to leave. Of course, when they tell you you cannot do something and you do it anyways, in a lot of these places, it is not too far off to believe that you might actually lose your job and get fired.
People there have wished that they would have been able to leave and go home to take shelter there with their loved ones or somewhere else that was safe, but they weren't allowed to, because if they did, they risked losing their jobs. So I followed up, and I've spoken to 5 people who all give me the same story.
And the story is what? That when those sirens hit, they tried to leave and they were told you might be fired if you do? That's what they're sort of saying, these employees?
Correct. Initially, the company wanted, as the first sirens went off, I'm going to say around between 5:30, 6 o'clock, and they wanted everybody to like maybe take shelter in the bathrooms and the hallways. But then there was a 3-hour window between then and when the second siren had came. And that's when a lot of the employees there had asked to go home. So we're talking 15 employees. That's on the low end.
Which is awful. You don't want to have to go to a place and think, well, if something happens that no one can control, what are my options? If there's a tornado that's going to come through at any moment, or a blizzard or whatever, and I have to shelter, am I going to be allowed to shelter? Now, the response from Amazon, at least, we would never stop them from leaving. Of course, they would probably never stop you from leaving, but you would definitely not have a job afterwards if you would leave in the middle of your shift when you are not given permission to. Especially in a place like Amazon, where even your bathroom breaks are like, I guess they're controlled for sure. And there's a lot of people that I have seen comment and say, not on anything that I'm involved in, but in other people's stuff where they were like, well, if you don't like your job, then you can quit. That's just not realistic. We live in America where, yes, there are a lot of jobs, but to get those jobs or even to move around from job to job, it's not as easy as it sounds. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, like a lot of these people are, and a lot of people in the US are, and an increasing amount of people are, you can't just quit your job and go and look for another job and just sit there for like maybe a month or however much time. I mean, I don't know what their communities are, but even in some communities where warehouses and factories tend to thrive in, those are the places where the surrounding communities are, that's all they have to work at, so you can't just leave. And those tend to be the places where tornadoes go through. So people can't just leave and just expect to go to another place if there's no other place to go to within that community or that town or that city. Now that's just talking about small cities. Bigger cities obviously have more options, but even then, people just don't have the money to just move around like that. It's just, there are people that are better financially sound, but not everyone's prepared, and some people could have just gone through something to where their whole savings were eaten up by, like, for example, whole ass pandemic. This is pretty fucking sad, honestly. I'm pretty sure nothing's going to happen though. And the reason why I think nothing's going to happen is because the majority of the times these companies, nothing happens to these companies when like people die in their under their, I want to say under their care, but it's really just under their watch. Because these companies don't really care about people. They're not taking care of you. They're not taking care of the people that go there. Those people are just workers. They're there to work and to get paid and leave. So I do have a story time that goes along with this story, but I don't want to talk about it just yet. I did want to talk about this story though, because it hit me a little close to home. Because we've all been either at school or at work or wherever when it's either been raining, there's a blizzard coming through, something's happened, and we're just there, just like, dang, it's really going hard outside, and you're just like, at least I'm inside, but you never fucking think like, damn, this warehouse is gonna fall on me. For that to happen, it would have to been really fucking bad outside. I'm rambling. It's my first video in a while. I mean, I just went through like the holidays, and I don't know. My brain is just so foggy, and I'm trying to get back into the routine where I'm just like happy-go-lucky, and I have my shit together, and I can talk about whatever. But yeah, I mean, here's another thing. There are laws in place to protect workers from this type of shit. We have OSHA, we have the fucking governor, we have all kinds of shit, we have the government. But the reason why these companies are going to get away with this shit rather than not, I mean, they've been getting away with a lot of things. If you think of, let's just break it down. Amazon, people be peeing in bottles and shitting in bags while they're delivering the goods to us. Do you really think that Amazon is going to get hit with some sort of fine or a lawsuit or something? I don't think so. And if anything, I think they're going to continue to do this type of shit, because all they have to do is go on camera and say, they could have walked out. We weren't stopping them.
If you knew the weather was coming, was there any thought to maybe suspending production?
If we believe that we could do anything differently, in hindsight, of course, I think all of us would do something differently. It's such a gamble to say leave, because the last thing you do, it says don't get in your car. That's what experts say. And
now he says they're focused on employees and supporting the loved ones of those lost.
Every ounce of me and my family and our executive team are thinking about the families that right now are not waking up as fortunate as you and I. And that's where all of our focus is.
Tornadoes that have hit 6 states. As we learn new details here at NBC News about a candle factory in Mayfield that had more than 100 people in it. You heard from one of those survivors, one of those factory workers earlier in the show. Well, now NBC News is learning that employees, some of them, say supervisors threatened to fire them if they left their shifts early.
So I spoke to the company spokesman earlier today, and he said that ever since COVID started, that they have a policy where you actually are allowed to leave at any point during your work shift. You can leave and decide to come back the next day. So that means if you want to stay there for 45 minutes, okay. If you want to stay there for 2 hours, okay. If you want to stay there for the whole shift, okay.
Of course not. What the fuck? It's easy for people outside to even say that people on the inside, these victims could have done differently. We weren't really there, so that's my opinion. We weren't really there. We can't really tell them, hey bitch, you could have just ran away. No, like, we're, even us at work, we're in a different mindset. So I can only imagine that they were just like, well, we are inside. This is a big ass building. Anyways, I'm going to leave it here, this video. If you see me in the same clothes, you know the deal. I just made a video one after the other, and it is the holidays, and I'm still fucking working between the fucking days. So hit me up, leave a like if you like the video, leave a comment regardless if you like the video or not. I want to hear your opinions, your thoughts, your whatever, what have you. If you want to say whatever you want to say to me, that's fine. Leave it down below. And most important of all, subscribe. Your subscription actually helps this helps this channel grow, and Oh, I almost fucking forgot. So, when I made the short the other day, like a week ago, that shit blew the fuck up. And honestly, I think that was great. I've never fucking, and it was over some dumb shit, and it still blew up. So I am really happy to see that type of like engagement. But on top of that, like, so I was actually thanking everyone for the 500 views. Well, now we fucking hit 1,000 views on the channel, and that, like, I know that's really itty bitty compared to other fucking channels, but that really fucking lights me up. And not only that, we actually also hit 250 hours of view time. That's also really big for me. I appreciate all of y'all, regardless of whether you're watching me, because I don't really know. But also, thank you for everyone who has subscribed. 20 subscribers. I love you all of y'all. I love all of y'all. All of y'all. All of y'all. And thank you for putting up with me and my awkwardness and my weirdness. But you know what? I think it just adds a little bit of spice. What else? I think that's really it. Like, thank you for that, and thank you for putting up with me being hammered on camera for you guys. It's not something that I'm gonna necessarily be doing all the time, but I think that's really cool, because you guys got to see a different side of me. If you want that type of content, or whatever kind of content you guys want, let me know, and we'll see if I can make it happen for you guys. In the meantime, I love you guys. Please take care. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.